What is your business? Like, why don't you introduce yourself real quick?
So, where do I start?
Just start from the beginning. Like, what
My
do you
name
do?
is Hayk.
Hi,
It's
Ike.
like as Armenian as that gets.
It's all
Hayk.
good, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been in the pizza business for 4 years. 4 years, a little over 4 years, probably.
Okay.
Um,
Do you run a franchise or like what?
it's I like to say it's like a
It's
franchise.
like a franchise.
It's like
Franchise
a
light.
franchise. Yeah, like. Um, it doesn't operate like one, or at least not what I think a franchise should be operating as, which is good for me in some retrospect, and in other, it's challenges.
You don't have to wear a suit and tie to work, do you?
No, definitely no.
That's a bonus. Then.
Yeah.
You're already a
Yeah,
step
yeah.
ahead of most
Yeah.
people, I would say.
Yeah, I can the good thing is I can add stuff to the menu the way I want. I can take stuff off. I've been doing that. It's very
Okay.
different. They don't. There's some stuff, that is the same just because it's been good.
Yeah.
And then there's certain stuff that we were talking about this a little earlier, like how important is the water? So
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I
man.
mean?
Yeah.
So
Because I've made pizza and I've tasted the difference. Like I've tried using like different kinds of waters and nobody believes me, man.
yeah, it's definitely a lot more scientific within the creation than you would assume.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, because the more water you put, the dough gets softer or harder, and then that cooks differently. It gets more well done, or it doesn't get well done.
Or like the mineral content of that water
or
too
the
even affects it.
even that. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything matters, and this is the interesting part. Like you'll hear a lot of people say, "Oh, why is New York pizza so good?" After doing a lot of reading of why New York pizza their dough is so good, is because apparently their irrigation system, like their water system, is so bad that they have like 7 tons and I don't know what's of filtering water, so their tap water tastes better than your whatever Niagara water this is.
They pump it from the sewers
From the
directly
sewer,
into your pizza.
they
man.
wash it. Yeah, they clean out the water so good that the water coming from the faucet is like filtered water.
I'll take that New York sewer water over the Flint, Michigan water any day.
Probably.
Though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what kind of pizza you could make with that.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like one of those spicy chicken pizzas, but worse.
Here's a secret that somebody told me, but I haven't tried it yet. They told me that Crystal Geyser is the closest to New York water.
The fuck
So
outta
if
here.
someone else agrees to that, please just like let us know so I can get some like.
I'm gonna spin up my my cast iron and try this one out, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it out. Yeah,
Try
yeah,
it.
I'm gonna try it out.
I considered to use it like and try it, but is it worth it? I don't think the average person will.
Well, not for you. You run a business,
Yeah.
but I'm just like at home. Like, I'm not doing anything. It takes me 24 hours to let my dough rise. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll let you know. I'll get back to you. on
Yeah,
that
let me
one,
know.
For
Let
sure.
me know. That's interesting. But we just changed out of like for example, I've been doing small stuff like that, like instead of soybean oil, we're using like pure olive oil, which is cost difference is a lot.
Like more.
But yeah,
Yeah.
way more.
Yeah.
Yeah, like from soybean oil, which is like it's like to pure olive oil.
Well, weren't the tariffs kind of, from what I understood, they were supposedly wrecking the whole soybean market? Like the prices on that was supposedly going up. Like I'm not in that business, so I don't know.
See,
but-
God's in control. Maybe I switched at a good time. I don't know. I have no idea.
But you didn't notice anything
No,
crazy
no,
like that
no.
happening.
No, I was just like
It was just coincidence that you were
Yeah,
swapping out.
I just
Interesting.
become more like quality. I want to be like that fast food. I've always seen my structure as like, when you think of burgers, like a good, fresh, tasty burger, you think of In-N-Out a lot of times.
Oh, baby.
You know what I mean?
Can we get
that'd be
paid
$25,000.
Yeah. Paid promotion.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like the pizza business is very I see it as a niche market
Yeah.
where people might not, and I'll tell you why. And I'll say it quickly. You have the Domino's, the Pizza Man, or the Pizza Hut, sorry, and the Little Caesars, which are like the big guys. You know them, cheap, bad quality, fast service, technologically advanced, whatever. Right? There's all those big guys, and then you have the mom and pops, who's the old guy that's just running his joint. He survives off of that place. It's like he's making his money. It's job security. That's what I
Right.
call it. I don't want to be either of them. For me, there's a middle ground that I'm at. It's the revolutionary pizza place that wants to become some things that are on my plate that I can't share just yet. Maybe we can do this a couple of times and then we can dig deeper into a lot of things.
Sure.
And like it'd be cool to get, people that are listening, their thoughts of like, hey, what if we did this concept which doesn't exist? What do you think about it?
Right. So you're trying to make it more creative, like more like different from your standard like
Pizza
cookie
place.
cutter, like this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
what pizza is. It's like,
Yeah.
well, is that what pizza is?
Yeah,
Or can we do something different with it?
Yeah. So and that's changing and adjusting, and I think I'm just trying to manage what comes my way, because I'm the kind of person, like, if you make dough at home and you use, like, I have a buddy, he used like 00 flour, and like I bought it for him, and then he took it home and like he made his dough, and he's like, well, it was really good. I have this oven, we can make Neapolitan style pizza in there, like, should we try it, test it out? I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it, because I might add that to my menu. I might get that small oven, put it on the top, and start making those type of pizzas for people.
That's cool.
Like, I'll do it, and it might evolve into like this pizza place that has all these different type of pizzas, and you can get this, like, whatever it is. And I don't know, it might be that, it might be like this totally different concept that we can get off of this thing, and then I'll kind of tell you a little bit, and then you can give me your opinion before everyone else listens.
Okay.
But
how's the business been since this whole lockdown thing went down, man? Because I'm curious. I've been ordering pizza like crazy, and like I know all of my friends have been ordering pizza like crazy too.
You know what it is? We lost a lot of the big catering. So the number of customers has increased. The repeat customers have increased. But the volume is essentially almost the same, because I get Disney to order $1,500 in food. Well, damn, that's like, how many customers is that?
Right.
It's like 100 customers, right? Or whatever it is. You
Right,
can average
right.
it out. So if Disney, Cartoon Network, Warner Bros, all these people are not ordering for their 300, 400 staff because they met their goal that month, or dealerships are not ordering because they met the goal that month, or, media center, like, they order a lot, like you're doing a podcast, boom, you just get some pizza there, whatever's, right? Just throw it in there. So I've seen a lot more customers and a lot more repeat, but they're ordering like a medium pizza.
Right.
They're not ordering 3 jumbos because they're not doing a birthday party at home.
Is that actually, I mean, my guess would be that might have even made it worse, because you still have to pay the delivery fees for, I mean, I would assume now your drivers are...
More drivers.
Yeah, so you're actually kind of,
It's breaking even.
Okay, yeah.
So, you know what I mean? And then you have the whole dine-in is not there. My lunch is different. So, like, for example, I have 3 locations, right? I have La Crescenta, I have Burbank, and Glendale. My Burbank was really dine-in heavy because of all the businesses that are in the area, so they would come in for lunch. My La Crescenta was super dead in the morning because everyone's leaving the city to go to work. Like, they're leaving La Crescenta and going, like, who knows where to work. But now that they're home, the mornings are busy in La Crescenta, but the nights are slow because they had pizza already. So it's just like, it's like this rotation of the business instead of like just volume and increase. It's just been a shift. Like, the days are off. Like, Monday might be busier than a Saturday. It's like, what the heck? How is that
consistency basically went out the window.
Yeah. And there's already no consistency in the business already. You never know if it's going to be a busy Friday night or Saturday. It's like impossible.
Have you guys been having problems with getting like stock for your ingredients, or?
There have been some issues, yeah. There have been. I don't know if it's because of the people that we work with, and they're like fast food suppliers, and fast food places have generally gotten busier,
right?
And they're having problems with their volume. Supply chain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the sit-down restaurants vendors, they're probably slow. So it really depends on who you work with and where the supply chain is actually linked, and then that's I think that's the problem. It's not like the manufacturer is not manufacturing chicken anymore.
Right, of course.
It's just the person that's demanding that chicken is high, and they have a certain amount that they can give out and distribute to different things. That's how it's set up.
It's honestly crazy when you think about how delicate a lot of the systems that we take for granted are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just listening to this conversation, right? One little lockdown situation, and suddenly, like, oh shit, I can't get my cheese, I can't get my dough. Like,
that was flour for me.
That's insane, man.
Yeah, I kind of I went and got like a pallet of flour, which is fine because I distribute it between the stores, and then like it runs out anyways. But people have to understand that you getting that 50-pound bag of flour and keeping it at your house, like, I get it, but like a 20-pound could do the same.
It's gonna expire, dude. You're not gonna be able to use that whole bag in time, anyways.
I mean,
what do you think about toilet paper, though? Do you think that's perishable? Like, does that have an expiration date?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I didn't have a problem with toilet paper getting it from our
Really?
vendors. Yeah.
I mean, how much did you buy?
I order when I buy the case, it comes 96 rolls.
Jesus, man, you're already ahead of the curve.
Yeah. I
What
had
are you
enough for
doing?
all my family. I don't know about you guys. I can supply some people. You know.
Hey, can we figure out where this guy lives and stop by on the way?
Yeah, it's funny because I told all my family, I'm like, now you guys are happy that we're in the restaurant business. Now I can get the food, I can get all the supplies, you know.
It better be 2-ply though, man, because I can't do that single ply.
No. Those we send back. We return it. Those.
Get rid of this.
Yeah, give it to the guy next door that's ordering from you. You know, the other pizza guy. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, that's crazy, man. This is such a weird time that we're living into. But I feel like if anything, what I want people to appreciate and like realize is like, dude, you live in probably the best time to be alive right now. You know, like the level of technology that we're at, the level of like human ingenuity that's allowed us to get here. You know what I mean? Like, don't throw all that shit away just because of one little, pandemic. Like, it's serious business. But at the same time, like the overreaction is getting like, really bad, man.
Yeah,
like, some people are taking things way too far with it.
That's interesting stuff. See,
Yeah.
then you say it's interesting times, and it's like, is that what it's supposed to be? Because this goes back to kind of where my perspective is, and I really think that if you take away all the technology, which is great, whatever, right? You take away all the technology, the cars, the clothing, the whatever is materialistic.
Can we keep the toilet paper though?
Yes, that's essential.
Okay, cool.
Those are essentials.
Okay. As long as we keep that, man,
Yeah.
I'm happy.
All that you're left with is relationships,
Yeah.
And I value the personal relationships because I think it's very unfortunate when people are so focused in their work to get to where they want to get to, which is great because I'm one of those people. Like, I know where I'm going to get to, and God willing, I get there. But if I'm going to have to lose relationships for that purpose, that sake, I don't know if that's actually fruitful for purpose of life.
I wonder how much of that is just like a living in the big city kind of thing. Because like we're in LA, right? This arguably it's one of the largest metropolitan areas on the planet. Like second only to what, New York and maybe Beijing. Like I don't know. I don't know what Beijing stats are, but I know for sure that New York, LA, like we're up there. I wonder how much of it is to do with just the fact that what do we got? 15 million people jammed in this like small 30-mile radius,
It's nice without the traffic, though, right?
Oh, dude, it's killer without the traffic.
Yeah.
Like, because I was out in Utah a couple years back, and it wasn't like this, man. Like, everybody was way more laid back. Their life was just cruising, way more connected with each other. You didn't get like that rat race feeling that you feel here. Didn't exist over there. Like, I felt like I could breathe.
I think they're genuinely more at peace and joy, and they have more comfort.
I believe it.
Because they have more clarity and they have more structure and organization within what they have. Because when you don't, you're like, well, what's next? What do I you're trying to find that structure and that system and that whatever, but there's always more, and you're never going to fill that space. You're not. And
you just get greedy, man. I think, like, especially you look down the street and you're like, why does that guy got that C300? I want a C400. Yeah. Or whatever, I don't know, but like
I
you get trapped
there's nothing
in this
wrong with
vicious
having
cycle.
it. I think there's nothing wrong with having it.
Of course not.
I think that it depends the purpose of why you're having it, and I really believe that by the time you get to that point, you might not even want it.
You probably wouldn't.
See,
no.
And that's the crazy part.
It's the rat race, man.
Yeah,
it's just we're literally sitting there on this wheel. Trying to get that little piece of cheese that they dangled over in front,
Cheese? Did someone say cheese? Pizza? What?
Cheese. I have an idea.
No,
I'll tell you about it when we're
man.
off the air, but I got an idea I want to run by you, man.
Cool.
I want to see if you could custom make me this.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated. Yeah. Remind me to remind you and to remind everybody about this. I want to cut, though, if it works out.
Yeah.
75%.
Oh, whoa. Hold on a second.
I'm out.
No, tell me your idea. Come back 85%. Imagine.
Have you ever seen that stuff?
The worst negotiator, right? Damn, who is this guy?
Dude, have you seen like Shark Tank or Dragon's Den or any of that stuff?
Shark Tank.
Those shows are excellent, man. Like me and this guy over here, we love sitting there and watching it because we'll sit there.
You dissect it.
We dissect it.
Yeah.
And then we'll sit there for like 40 minutes after the show's already done and
this
talking about
idiot.
the show. Yeah, dude.
Sorry, find out.
It's great, man. Like stuff like that is always interesting to me because it's like you get to see the perspective of the investor, right? And then you put yourself in the investor's shoes and you get to think like, okay, well, how would I have, like, forget the person who's proposing, the package or whatever the hell they're trying to do. Like, what's interesting to me is like their mindsets, like the mindset of somebody that's got the money to put into a product, right? Like, what goes on in there, and just having those conversations and exercising your brain in that way is just great to me, man. Because it's like,
yeah, I agree, and I think I got advice from somebody, and I think people that are in business and in school, I think this is really good advice that I got, and it might, just in general, this is what I did, but I was considering going back for my master's, and I didn't know if I should go back or not. So I had like a executive coach that I went to, and I was like, hey, like I have this program, like if I don't go, then I'm out of the program. If I go, I have like a year or two to finish my master's. Like, should I do it? And he's like, and now because I'm in business already, like why go back to school? Like I have my businesses set up. I'm like trying to grow, right?
right.
And his perspective was like, look, if you're ever in front of investors, like what you're saying, a lot of the times, if you notice, they care about who that person really is and their behavior and their character just as much as what they're actually going to put their money into, because you're driving that. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like his perspective was like, look, if you can handle these businesses and go back to school and get your master's at the same time, that shows your character in what you're doing and how you're scheduling your time and your determination and your whatever, and your, like whatever comes out of that process is more valuable than the degree itself. It's the character that someone might rely on if they're going to invest and you're at that level, which is where I want to get to, So I think a lot of times when I see those shows, I'm like trying to pay attention, not just like what their invention is, but like what are they looking for?
Who are they?
Like that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So that's why character and the way you are, and that's why for me it's been a very, very tough road in my business. It's a really, really tough road because I try to be so ethically sound that I would rather not get to where I plan to get to if it's not going to actually bear the fruit that I want, because if it's not done in the ethical and that way, it's not going to bear that fruit.
Right.
It's just not. You're going to be the kind of person that raises their kids in a certain way. It's going to change. Like, I don't care what anyone tells me. Like, if you have $1 million and you're like, yeah, my kids are going to be, like I have it, now my kids don't have to work that hard for it. It's vanity, because you don't know what they're going to come out of that and be. They might become like this egocentric, like, I got it, what and what, those kind of people. And I would never want my kid to grow up like that. So I would rather grow up 2 notches down and have my kid understand the difficulty of making that money if that's what they need, I
mean, it's a good thing that, you could fire your employees because you can't fire your kids, right?
I would fire my kid if he worked for me. I would, 100%.
No, I just meant in general, man.
Oh, like just get rid of him?
More, but like not in like a put them up for adoption sense. Just kind of look at them, and be like, this isn't working out. There's the door. I'll see you later.
Yeah, definitely.
See what happens.
Yeah, let's just see if he comes back.
They might negotiate. I don't know. Like,
well, yeah, they do. I think that's what kids do. I think from a young age, it's all about negotiation, bro.
They love testing, man. They love pushing those boundaries. Like, I don't have kids myself, but I have a ton of little cousins, and they are nightmares.
Yeah,
I love them, but damn, dude, nightmares.
They know what they're doing. Of
course they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
of course they know what they're doing. They act so stupid. They're like, what? What? Shut the hell up. Come on, man. Look at me. Do I look like I'm 60 years old? Like I was there.
But it's crazy how it starts there. They know, they build that intuition. I think it's like natural,
Any kids or anything with you or no?
No kids. No kids.
Soon to be announced.
No. I have to get back into. I mean, I've been going through some stuff. My life has been interesting, to say the least. I definitely like a rebellious child growing up, and then like rebellious, I mean like punching people in the church, like going to church and like,
dude, I was just smoking weed behind the church.
Oh yeah, smoking weed in the church. That was me.
Don't do it in the church. At least have the decency to leave.
I mean, honestly, when you look back now, it's like
I should have done crack in the church.
No, it's like sin is sin. Like it's just God knows, God sees the heart. Like that's not who I am. That's not who I wanted to be, and I'm thankful for that. But I went through that, and then I had like major. I don't know if you can see these. It's like scar. It looks like a design, but it's not. I had like a major surgery. I had like a bone tumor. So they did like reconstructive surgery from here, and then they put everything over here.
That's nuts, dude.
Like gnarly. Yeah, it was like a 10-hour surgery.
How the hell did they figure out? Like, how did you know that you had something like that? Like,
It was just my bone was growing, so it would just keep growing, and then it started to like hit my eye. I was like a young age, like from 11 years old, it started to grow. So then by the time I was like 21, it was like already bothering me. So they said either we can like trim it off or we can like just entirely take it off. I'll show you some pictures. It's like crazy.
that's nuts.
Like
Dude.
if you see my face, you'll be like, damn, like damn.
Was
So
it a
like,
tough recovery or what? Like,
I think I took it fairly well. I think that's just how I've kind of been built. I think I just take, um, you know, I don't. I don't know. I just kind of like I just see it as a challenge, and I just kind of go through it. That's just how I process things sometimes. I lost my dad when I was very young. I guess you could say young. I was 23. Oh no, yeah, 23. I got married when I was 22. Actually going through divorce right now, which is very unfortunate.
I know you shouldn't ask women how old they are, but is it okay if I ask you how old you are? Because you're a man. I mean,
I'm
that's cool,
29.
right? All right.
Yeah, I'm 29. So I was married for 6 years. Um, yeah, I've been, life's been going.
That's
Life's
tough,
been going.
dude. Like
Yeah.
you weren't kidding when you said like you went through some shit.
Yeah, I mean, major surgery, like life. I mean, it was like very stressful. I think it was more stressful for my parents. I was 21 years old getting surgery. Like,
Yeah.
hey, like, yeah, I went through, I don't know, like 3 pints of blood or something. I don't know, 4 or 5 bags of, I don't know what they do. So yeah, and like it was really tough because they gave me like oxycodone or whatever. I don't know what that is. Like, and I can see how people can get addicted to that
Yep.
crap. Like that shit was like they gave me 90 pills. Literally, like I was home. I was like, do I have pain or like, do I not have pain? Because I really enjoyed this thing and I'm like taking it. And like it was, and I know how like against I am with those things. Like I have my boundaries. Like yeah, I've smoked weed and like that's just where I've cut the line. I've never done coke. I've never done any of that stuff. It's just I never had the interest in it. You know, so I can see how people can get addicted to that crap.
Yeah, man. It's serious.
It's serious
It's
shit.
really
It's
serious.
serious shit. And it's very unfortunate, man. It's really sad because when I went through it and they gave me like 90 pills and I was like, bro, like even selling that,
You've heard of the new craze, right? The fentanyl.
No, I don't follow up too
That's
much.
some fucked up shit. Like it's so bad that like a little tiny, just like that
Mhm.
little bit is basically on the level of like oxys, pretty much. Like it's some gnarly
Yeah,
shit.
it's sad, man. It's sad. My heart goes out to people like that. I mean, thankfully, I was not like addicted to it. I just tossed it, but it was a very conscious thing. Like I had to tell myself, like, hey, like I'm gonna throw this shit out. I'm not even gonna finish it. What's the
Yeah.
point, So yeah, and then, so yeah, that's been kind of my journey so far.
You're doing good though, man. You seem like you're on the right path. Like even though you got all this shit being tossed at you, just taking it like a boxer and getting back up.
Yeah, I think like it goes back to faith, man. Like I think I've been with the Lord, and it's just that's just what I see as the preparation of where I want to be, and if it's in line with His will, there's a reason for that. You know what I mean? I really believe that because you're not going to be a world champion boxer if you don't get into the ring with tough opponents
Right.
who have also been sparring and you've been sparring and
Yeah,
you've
of
been doing
course not.
push-ups and they've been on your ass like what are you doing, get your ass up, get like you've been through the mental and the physical and the freaking emotional, and you went home and your wife was complaining and you're like what the someone that goes through whatever they go through, I think they're built up for that, and I want to be built up for that. So that's just how
You need challenge in your life to grow as a person, dude. I feel like if you didn't have that
Yeah.
challenge, if you didn't have that, that thing that's always fighting against you, you're not gonna grow, because that's what lets you overcome. That's what lets you
Yeah.
learn new things. That's what lets you develop your talents.
Yeah.
That's what lets you find out what you should and should not do.
Yeah.
Like it's tough, man. Because like we were talking about earlier, right? Like it's in an ideal world, you would say that there should be total peace.
and there
but
will be
then-
one day.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, what would happen to us? Like, would we grow in a state like that? Like, if there was just complete peace and everything was just static, what growth would
that's the
you
thing,
have to
I
do?
mean, it depends on how you see it. Like I think that for me, that's that for me, I can answer that because I see it as glorifying God. You know what I'm saying? So that is what it is. You know, for me, it's worshiping and praising and glorifying God. That is what I'll be doing. You know what I'm saying? I
So
mean,
basically, if you're trying to be a African warlord, you're shit out of luck.
no, why?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Why? What does that
What if
mean?
I want to run around the savannah with an AK and like raise an army of child soldiers? Like,
What do you mean, like now?
yeah, no, oh no, when there's peace.
Oh, like when like in eternity?
I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, man.
I think
it was just a hypothetical. I don't know.
I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, I think we're gonna be partying and enjoying in eternity. It's not like we're gonna be like, oh yeah, worship. No, it's not gonna be like that. You might be playing basketball. I don't know. Like, why not?
Don't tell me that.
It's just that you don't have the sin anymore.
Then
You
I'll
don't
feel
have.
like I'm in hell.
Why? Okay,
like
fine.
basketball.
You won't play basketball. You'll only be assigned to soccer or something. You know? Like, what do you like?
African warlord.
There you go. And perfect. Your AK cannot kill anyone. You can shoot them all you want.
Just taking all the fun out of things, man.
You know? No, I mean, yeah, I think for me, it's not that stale. It's not boring.
Do you think it's up for interpretation then? Like everybody gets their own little thing?
Of what?
Like they get their own little heaven?
No.
So it's all unified in one?
Yeah, I think your faith has to be in Jesus Christ, that He died for your sins on the cross.
No. I mean, like when you die and go to heaven, do you think that like am I gonna have to live with my mom, or can I like live in my own like
your
place?
own mansion?
Yeah.
I don't know. Those are like.
Because I can't. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, but you're thinking from this perspective.
Well, I don't know. I'm just speculating. Like I'm just letting you know up front. It's gonna be problematic.
I don't know. I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way. I don't. Yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at with those things, you know?
Well, that's cool,
and
man.
it's a journey, bro. It's a journey. It's really tough. I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm probably going through the toughest part now. You know, like, and it depends on how you see things. You know, I think the culture now is very lightweight, to say the least, when it comes to commitment.
Well, you're not wrong. You know, it's not just with relationships either. I think we have an issue with commitment with everything.
With everything,
yeah. And you know, like I'm playing with this, you know, new toy. Oh, I'm bored of it.
Yeah,
like it's gotten to the point where you know I'm starting to seriously consider like what's going to happen in another 10, 15, 20 years. Like, is that just going to get worse? Like, because it can't. If it gets any worse than that, like you might be looking at some major problems. Like. There's a reason why people are turning to fentanyl, you know, and it's not just because, you know, they're bored. It's not just because they have mental issues. There's some other underlying crap that's happening that's causing these issues that we're seeing pop up in society. And I think you hit the nail on the head with that. Like, we're definitely having issues with commitment. We're having issues with, you know, just being open with each other and having conversations with other people. Like now it's my team, your team, and that's it.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to agree on something, you know?
Yeah, I really believe that, and that's why I think our generation is going through, in my opinion, like a depression stage.
Yeah,
and for me, I really believe that economics, economy, and business is very, very, very related to human behavior. So when human behavior starts to shift a certain way, society follows through with that way, and that goes into the business of things, because that's how laws and businesses and everything is translated, and economics runs off the behavior of things.
Right.
So think of it like this: like if all of a sudden people are like, oh my goodness, like you should not run anymore, you should only walk because running is really bad for you, something or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Guess what? Anything that has to do with running, that just is going to slow down the businesses. Or so don't take it into running because that's a bad example. But
no, it's not. I mean, that's what they're doing to football, to American football.
Okay, yeah, like you know, like or don't eat.
It gives
meat
people concussions. Okay, what are we supposed to do?
Stop watching.
More padding on. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So now the technology drives in that. Whether it creates new business or other business, that's what it does. But now don't get the creative and that side. Now get the depression part. So when people are depressed, they start to turn to certain things, and those things are not necessarily driving economy, because it breeds into a lot of different things, you know?
Like
like get there faster because you want the money quick. because you're not committed and you don't want to put in the hard work, and you don't realize that you're falling into that depression trap because you want to get there so fast, and then you're not, so you're willing to do something unethical and illegal just to get there. Now you're just screwing the whole system.
So you're getting people are getting short-sighted too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely see that trend in like the way a lot of these bigger corporations are being operated. You know, it used to be like corporations popped up and they were like, we're going to be around for the next 4,000 years, you know, but now it's just kind of like, no, pump it, dump it, pump it, dump it. You know, like just, we got to make money, we got to make money, we got to make money. Fuck what the consumer thinks or wants, or you know, just they want us to wear gloves. Yeah, just put the gloves on.
Yeah,
well, you know, who gives a shit? It's really gross, man. It's icky when you think about it, because we've turned into this culture that just panders without actually giving a shit. You know, it's just anything to keep people complacent. Shut the hell up. You know what I mean? Like, and just consume, just buy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I think it's crazy, man. I think the investing part of that, the saving and investing part of that economic, what builds up the economy of like consumer and import export, whatever that is. I think that weighs a lot, and people don't do that.
What do you mean specifically though? Like
just investing, like saving, because people don't realize like
creating
they
something.
think like, oh, like you have to consume to drive the economy. Yes, but you also need to save to make a big purchase, because what's gonna drive the economy more? My opening a business or buying that X, Y, and Z. But if I save my money and then I open that business, now I'm driving the economy 10 times faster than just buying those stupid things.
So it's the act of creation almost that's
that's very valuable. So if you're just buying what's already out there and not saving to be able to do something, you know what I'm saying?
You're almost recirculating what's already in the current supply as versus creating new supply or demand.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I think that's a value part, and I also believe at the same time that not every person has to be a business owner, and that's completely fine.
Well, what I respect are the kinds of people that sort of know their place and that are willing to admit it. Because a lot of times you bump into people and they're like, "Oh yeah, hey, what's up, bro? I'm this and this." And it's like, yeah, but are you?
You know what I call that?
Really, dude?
When you know that, that's called value.
Yeah.
I am a very value-driven person. I have a hard time actually following the physical money because I'm so focused on adding value, which is very dangerous in a business, because you can create all your value that you want, but at some point you got to create the money to be able to pump it back into the value, or else you're stuck on this value that never finishes, that can never produce something. You know what I'm saying? But when you're so focused on creating the money, you never reach the value, and you're doing something wrong.
But it's important to realize that, because I feel like you're already ahead of the curve if you know that. You know, like there's a lot of people that have this massive ego that just will not accept that. You know, and I've bumped into tons of them in my life. You know, I'm not some pro businessman by any stretch of that definition, right? But like, I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses, and I'm not going to sit there and pretend like I'm good at something that I'm not. Mm-hmm. You know, because not only am I wasting my time, I'm wasting the time of the person sitting in front of me. I'm wasting the time of my employees or their employees or contract, whatever. Like, why do that, dude? Yeah. You know, like, so anytime I bump across somebody that's like, just running a business isn't for me. I'm really good at focusing on the details of things and just drilling down into one specific thing. I'm like, dude, kudos. It's really hard to admit that for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, and that person will go far in their lives. Mm-hmm. You know, they'll make it to that pinnacle of what they do.
Plus, they'll have more of that joy and peace and what they need for their life, because we're so different.
Yeah.
You know, we're so different. Like, I know 100% I could never be like a doctor, or like I just can't do that. It's just not my nature. If I see someone's arm rip off in front of me, I'll go probably and like do something about it.
Grab some paper clips and like.
But like, if I have to like get the knife and cut it, like I was the guy in the science, like in 8th, 9th, whatever grade it was. Like, okay, girl, like you can get the knife and cut the worm. I will write the paper. Don't worry, we're gonna get an A. Just make sure you cut it so we know what's inside of it, and tell me. Don't show me.
What was inside of it?
I don't know. I never saw it. I was just like green, squishy lines.
It's disgusting.
You know, like, whatever. Who cares? But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you like catch on to those things, but like. And I think that's important, because like, who's to say that doctors are more valuable and more whatever than the guy that is a janitor for honestly, because the janitor came from somewhere that he barely made it to this country you know, he got here somehow, and now his kid, like, he's focusing on that level, you know. So like, who's to say like he's not adding more value than you just because you got to that level because of some other reason, you know.
At that point, it totally depends on your definition of value, right? Because like, what? Okay, hypothetical.
And who defines that?
Of course, but let's take the hypothetical example of any sportsman. You know, somebody who's NBA, NHL, whatever the hell it is, right? You know, these cats pull multi-million-dollar contracts, but there are engineers like that only pull 100K a year. You know, I can actually make the argument. I'm sure a shitload of people will disagree with me, but I can make the argument that that engineer is objectively contributing more to society as an engineer than this sportsman.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
He's building something, dude. Yeah. This guy is playing a sport. He's inspirational. There are people that may take inspiration from that, but the act of him throwing a ball or kicking a ball or whatever is not creating anything that can tangibly benefit the progress of human society.
I think the reason why we give those people so much money, which I don't agree with the value that they give, I think that they should get paid marginally a significant amount of money. Yes. Because I see it this way, that they are still at the core of what ends up being created from that core. You have the jerseys and the manufacturing and the clothing and the, you know, all these other seats.
I just disagree with the discrepancy. Like, I think that gap is ridiculous.
I agree. 100% I agree. I don't think it should be a $50 million contract.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, why not 5, dude? What the fuck you're playing come on, man.
So I agree 100% that it is a large value. And I'll say the same thing for CEOs. I think it's not right to get a $50 million bonus or a $60 million bonus, because I know how those bonuses are turning around. It's a lot more political, and it's a lot more,
of course it is.
Where is it actually going down the chain, and who's pulling whose leg on which side, and where the actual benefit is coming from, and how that's distributed. So I don't think it should be like that on that side either, you know. But you know, I think those are things that will get addressed when economies fail, and I think those are stuff that get adjusted, you know, because there's a lot of greed and there's a lot of this and that, and I think those things get revisited because it's like a pendulum, you know, like we go one way for a really, really long time, and then we're like, oh, okay, I think we messed up, this is not working, and then we slowly start to go all the way to the other end, and we're like, yeah, this was not a good idea either. So that's why right now we have this, I feel like there's this separation of ideas, and like people are either like, this is all a conspiracy, or this is like a virus and it's crazy, or like, you know, Trump is like this and I hate him, and then Trump is like really good and he's saving us. Like there's like this, I see this big gap, you know.
I mean, a lot of that, at least from what I've seen, a lot of that has been engineered, at least in my opinion.
Yeah,
you know, because I think most people just don't give a shit. They want to live their lives. They want to raise their kids. They want to be comfortable, and that's it. You know, because otherwise you'd see way higher voter turnout if people actually cared about that stuff, but you don't. So what does that inform you of? As far as that split, I agree that it's gotten really bad, but I'm also on the fence about whether that's true or not, because where are we getting that info from? We're getting it from Twitter. We're getting it from Facebook. We're getting it from Fox News, CNN, whatever. We're not seeing that firsthand. Every time I've gone out and had a political discussion or political debate with somebody who's had an opposite viewpoint as me, I've never had the kinds of reactions that people are claiming are occurring. Like, I haven't been spit on, beaten up, cussed at, nothing like that. And I've actively gone out of my way to seek these people out, you know? And
what I mean is more voiced out. People are more voiced out now.
It's fucking, you know? Twitter, man. That shit is
maybe.
so
I mean,
obnoxious,
I'm not on,
dude.
like, I try not to get on to, like, I mean, I have Instagram. I use it for the business. I run mine, like, whatever. But I don't use any news outlets. I don't,
Have you had it in? Have you had it happen to you in person though? Like, have you ever had somebody walk up to you in person and start screeching at you because you said, "I like this"?
No, but I've noticed from a lot of customers that they are like you can tell that you could
Oh,
tell
they got that
like,
look.
oh
They
yeah,
got the
like she,
crazy
yeah,
eyes.
either she's like or he's like in the gloves and the mask and like, where's your glove and the mask, or it's like, man, f this, like screw this shit, like
But it's the
I don't have my
minority, right?
mask, like you have a, like, is that cool,
But it's the minority, arguably, right?
I think it's a mix. I
So you'd
think
say it's pretty balanced.
yeah, I think I don't see any difference between like ethnicities or culture, like I don't see that.
No, I meant more in like the extreme reactions versus non-extreme reactions. Like, do you tend to see more non-extreme or more extreme, or do you see a more balanced thing?
uh, I mean civil,
Yeah,
it's civil, but it's still like
you could see the potential for it getting
yeah,
out of
you can
hand.
see like
Yeah.
where people stand.
Okay.
I think that's what I've noticed. Like people are more taking a stand in what they like, whether they think that because someone told them that, or they saw it on the news, or whether their uh, husband and wife believes that, so they believe the same thing, or whether they're just like, this is what I believe. I'm not paying attention to that part, but I see that people are more
Vocal.
vocal and where they want to kind of where they see things, because I see like a chain reaction. Like everyone's talking about this virus. Like wherever I would go and I talk to someone, like they have their opinion or they have their mindset on like, like I don't believe it because of this conspiracy or that one, or this truth or that truth, or like, or I do believe it because of this, because my friend has it, or I know someone that has it, or my uncle works at the hospital and he told me how bad it is. Like, so everyone has like their thing on it and they voice it.
I think the important thing is that we make sure that we're not fixing these ideas in our heads as perfect and immutable. Like, I think that it's good to have your opinion and you should have an opinion, but you should also be open to discussing that opinion with
Yes,
others. You
that's
should
the
be
value.
open to, the possibility that you're wrong. It's very possible you're wrong,
Yes.
and 90% of the population might believe something, but all 90% might be wrong.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we've lost, man, and it's scary to me personally,
Yeah,
because that's what let us build all of this.
yeah, and then that goes back to creation, because you don't want to, like, just because you believe what you believe and you think what you think, you can't take that away from somebody else.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you shouldn't.
Exactly.
You can just tell that person, you know what, I'm so sorry, but every time we get into that conversation, it just doesn't, it's not fruitful. It's not worth it for us, because it doesn't bring me peace. It doesn't bring you peace. And it's better for us, for the sake of our way of being with each other, let's avoid that conversation, And then one day when you think differently, or that person thinks differently, because it's still open-ended, they might start to say, hey, you know what, like I read this and like I kind of see where you're coming, or whatever. You don't know
Yeah.
how it can turn out.
Yeah,
Because people's change. Like, I'm not who I was 6 months ago.
absolutely.
I'm not who I was 5 years ago, not even close who I was like 10 years ago. If I was, that's a problem. That's a problem. So you have to be open to that, because you might be the one that changes that viewpoint. You might be the one that starts to think differently. And now this whole time you've been judging and you've been assuming that people are all wrong. And then now when you start to change, you start to feel guilty about yourself.
Well, I don't know if you should feel guilty.
Not guilty, but you know what I'm saying? You start thinking like, like it's changing. You might not even notice that.
Sure. I mean, the important thing is I think that you come to terms with it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so whether you were right or wrong, it's sort of irrelevant at that point. You had your belief, and it's completely fair for you to argue for what you believe in. But if you get to a point in your life where you're like, I'm actually wrong here, you should. It comes back to admitting, right? Like admitting if you're good at something, you're bad at something, right? It's the same thing with that. You should be able to admit when you're wrong. Period. Like,
Yeah, I think that's why I value humility and being humble.
Yeah.
I strive for that. I really do, honestly. And it's a struggle. I think it's a struggle for guys, for men, because they see it as a weakness.
I can
what
see
mean?
that. Yeah.
A
little bit of ego kicks in.
yeah,
and you're like,
but I think that in reality, when people see that, deep down, like they want to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy that has all the money in the world that can buy everything, but he's just like, this regular guy is humble, like all this stuff, you see the value in that. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever it is, because like it's just, you know what I mean?
You know what's fascinating about that is I love that example because I feel like that guy that has all that money is probably in the best position to see something like that. But let's say you have a close family member, right? They've grown up with you your entire life. They might not see that. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody who's had the opportunity to get to such a place in their lives, but they I guess it comes back just to the whole idea of having to go through that process, having to go through those challenges, having to
Yes.
recognize that shit, man, maybe I was wrong this whole time, right? And that's what gives that guy the ability to look at somebody who's, maybe not making millions of dollars, maybe not even making $10,000, but go, shit, dude, this guy's got it better than I do. In a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas somebody that you grow up with or somebody that lives down the street from you just isn't going to see it. They're going to look at you like, fucking what a loser, dude. He doesn't even have $10,000 in the bank.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Because they're not even at that stage yet.
Right.
Because they don't...
The value.
The value. Because, see, like, it goes back to what are you filling your heart with? Because you can have everything in the world. It doesn't matter. It's never going to be enough. And everyone knows that until you get there. And for me, personally, how I came to that understanding and how I, understood that goes back to reading the Word. Like when I read the Bible and I go through Solomon's life and Ecclesiastes or Proverbs, it tells you that the guy was the richest guy and he had everything. And the way that he's so depressed in whatever he has because he has everything that you can imagine and it's just not filling.
Right.
It's just not filling. And it tells you like basically the only thing that really brings that joy is the food and enjoyment for that day. It's that day's enjoyment, So I think that's why I try to that's something that I want to be. I want to be that kind of person that goes through those struggles because I'm also very I don't want anything handed to me. You know what I mean? I appreciate it and I'm thankful for it and I'm grateful for it, but I want to go through certain things which might involve losing some things, which might involve, whatever it might involve, but to get to that level of having that understanding and that process of it. I think that's where the value is because that's where it goes back to like who you are as a person rather than what you have as a person. Because when you get married or you're with somebody, you don't want them to be with you for what you have and what's with you. You want them for who you are because you have the characteristic of being that person, and for whatever it is, whether it's for their security or for your, whatever it is, the value is in who you are. So I've tried to use my business, my ways of being to build on my character of who I want to be as a person more than what I want to have as a person.
I mean, on that note, I'm kind of curious. So do you plan on being in the pizza business for the rest of your life?
I can't answer that, but I do want to. I mean, my goal is to own and operate like a multi-million-dollar business.
Okay,
that's my goal because I just see the creation of it, and for me, like the process of having a business at that scale involves blah 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 blah, blah a million different things, right? Handling 5 employees and having 150 employees and having 300 employees very different because now you have a whole department dedicated to that, and to build that department is a new creation, and that's where for me it's like, how do you build the HR, and then how do you build the marketing team, and then how you control this one and that one, but like you're not controlling it because they all have their parts and everyone's sitting and doing their own thing, but like you just walk in there and you're like, oh, like, okay, cool, good, and it's just like this whole gear like that I see that turns, so for me it's not about the value of that $30 million. I don't care about the value of it. For me it's just that creation at that level, that's the value that it produces. And that's what I want to experience.
Creation process.
I want to be able, I want to create that process of that. And I don't care what industry is it in, as long as it's ethical, as long as I can be using my business, going back to my faith of glorifying what I can do. Like I would love to be in the pizza business and do that because I would love to feed people in the process of growing my business. I would love to help out families that can't. Like, hey, okay, like 15 families on Friday are gonna get large pizzas for the next month. Wow, I just fed 15 families, and it's not about doing that for the sake of doing it. It's just I want to use my business for that purpose.
Right.
You know, so I think I would want to be in a type of business that I can also do that part. You know, and I think pizza is you know, it's very possible because I can see it. And
well, I mean, I was gonna ask basically the question that you answered without me asking.
Oh,
so,
sorry.
No, that was perfect. It's like you read my mind.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
So,
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if that's what God's will is for Him to use my business at that level in that way, then I will be. You know, I will be. But if there is a different plans, then I might not be. I'm just not so hard pressed on like this is what it is. You know,
You're being like open and flexible.
Yeah, I think that we should be like that.
Yeah.
You know, I think we should be like that because then you allow things to happen without you being so.
But you have to find a balance too, man. Because like you be too open and flexible, and then you come back to that problem with committing.
That's why you got to do the
You know
work
what I'm
every
saying?
day.
Like,
That's why I wake up at 6 o'clock, 7 days a week.
ooh, boy, you're crazy.
I'm running.
You're out of
I'm
your
running,
mind, dude.
Yeah, I'm running, bro.
I woke up at 6 o'clock today too.
Yeah,
I was
same
about
here.
to murder one of Mercedes' engineers, dude.
Really?
Yeah, I was gonna get on a plane, fly over to wherever their fucking plant is in Munich or Berlin, or wherever the hell they're at, and just fucking blast one in the face, dude. My car's parking brake, like it wouldn't disengage the e-brake, the
Yeah.
electronic e-brake. It wouldn't disengage.
Did you try
dude.
kicking it? Sometimes it works.
You know, if it was an older Mercedes, I
You
probably
tried
would have
it.
taken. Yeah, I probably would have. But this one would probably like, I don't know, turn into like a transformer or something.
Then you would fly there with that.
He would have
mother-
launched me out of my garage. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
did you just wake up at 6 o'clock to turn on the car? You're like, let me just go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I did. No, man, because it was a whole thing. Like my mom had to get to work, and
Yeah. But you know what's crazy when
I
you
don't
say
want to
that?
talk about it. I'm getting PTSD.
But isn't it crazy how like we're so like inclined to like thinking like you have the faith in that? That's the problem.
In what?
In the car to start. You wake up, you're like, I have the faith for the car that's gonna start. What do you mean it's not starting?
Yeah.
Why is this not starting right now?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't this start?
Yeah.
What's the problem with this?
The engineer that designed it was an asshole. That's what the problem
But
was.
your faith is in that.
No.
Yes.
Not anymore.
There you go. So you got to put your faith in the thing that actually has control over every single part of your life, and that's God, 100%.
At the moment, it's this.
Well, we can talk about those too, those things. That's fine.
Hey man,
Yeah,
so
actually, I mean, I don't know.
I wanted to say, dude, I'm dying in here.
Yeah,
How are you, dude?
hot.
Do you want to wrap this one
Yeah,
up?
yeah. Let's wrap it up.
Do you have anything you want to plug? Do you have social media? Do you have your company's stuff? Like anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I can.
It's up to you.
The pizza place, Amici Pizza Kitchen.
Any links you got, we'll throw down there as well.
Yeah, let's do like a. You know, where are you guys gonna put this? Or we'll talk about that stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Just we'll put something out for everybody. I think that'll be really cool from our end. I think it'll be nice. So
honestly,
figure
this was a
something
great
out.
conversation,
Let's throw
man.
something out there for the guys, for girls, whoever's listening. We'll do like a 30% discount.
Right
Let
on.
them come try the pizza, and then you guys can tell us what water to use. You know, you guys are gonna have to listen to us a lot more, and then we'll get into the details of how things work. But yeah, this was cool, man.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
It was a
very,
pleasure to have you, Hayk.
Yeah,
Let's do this
blessing.
again, man.
Yeah, for sure.